many of you have dreamt of getting married and having kids when you were younger? I have recently found out that 1 in 7 Americans females are diagnosed with endometriosis. 30 to 50% of these females are left infertile, which means unable to have children. This was stated by American Journal of Obstetrics Gynecology. Unfortunately, this hits very close to home for me. I have been diagnosed with endometriosis along with some very close family members of mine. Today I will be talking about the history of this illness, the current prognoses of endometriosis, and the future of this disease. Let's first examine the history. For thousands of years, people have been having these problems with their pelvis, the pain, constant bleeding, or not bleeding at all, without knowing what was going on. During about 2,500 years ago, they called this the strangulation of the womb. In the 1800s, they used leeches to stick into the uterus to stimulate the uterus to function properly. And in 1860, Carl von Roxenstein diagnosed and documented a case for endometriosis microscopically, which are some very interesting facts for me. Now I'm going to explain the current prognoses and how it's diagnosed and treated now, today. The Mayo Clinic explains on a uterus that the endometrium tissue sheds downwards during the period, then it builds up on the outside of the uterus and on the uterine horns, which are right here. This causes restriction of the uterine horns for the ovaries to push out the egg into the uterus and causing the uterus to constrict from working properly as well. For the tests to diagnose, they're very invasive, they are uncomfortable and painful. You first have the pelvic exam, where your gynecologist will insert their fingers, feeling for any lumps or extra buildup of tissue on your uterus. Then you have the laparoscopic exam, where they will stick two probes and 2 cameras in your uterus to look and dig around for the lumps on the outside of the uterus and thickening of the endometrium tissue as well. Right now, it takes up to 6 to 10 years to fully diagnose endometriosis, which makes it where you have 6 to 10 years of pain and suffering, which is not the best to have. The medication that they are using to help with endometriosis is birth control and anti-inflammatory pills, and then home remedies, putting heat packs on your belly, and then kind of just working through it, working out, which right now, even though we have moved up in the research and learning a lot more, it's still not advanced as people are hoping to be. In the future, they are wanting to have a blood test to be able to diagnose faster. So the 6 to 10 years, it will move to 6 months to 5 months to even the next day. They're wanting to be less invasive so they don't have to go through these different scans and different ways of doing everything. This way, no one has to go through as much pain anymore and suffering. There are some researching companies. You have the Center of Endometriosis Care and the Endometriosis Awareness that are both trying to find different ways to advance the search of a cure for endometriosis. This way there's less females in pain, less females that have are infertile, that are able to live their dreams of having kids in the future. Today we have learned some awesome history facts on endometriosis. We have learned how uncomfortable and not so great ways they are diagnosing endometriosis right now. And we have also learned the future of what they are wanting to do, where it's less invasive, less painful, and faster care. I encourage you to go to the doctor, make sure you don't have it. I also encourage you to tell your aunts, your cousins, your nieces to also look to make sure they don't have these, to advance their care faster and help learn more about it. Thank you.